Hey guys, Valentine here. So, I've been getting a lot of requests to share my perfected version of the Trampleslide build so that people can understand and copy it, and I completely understand why. If you've seen it in action, it's been one of the most fun builds possible. So, I'm gonna quickly run it down for you in a completely unedited form, just straight discussion, telling you everything you need to pick in order to get the same amazing results as I did. If you hop by my stream, you've seen Trampleslide do upwards of 70k damage at level 53, which was absolutely insane. I was completely proud of this build. And I mean 70k with just one of the 6 Trampleslide dashes. This build is insane and it's not even in its final form. So right away, what do you need to make it work? Well, you need 2 legendaries that are an absolute must. Without these 2 legendaries, the build doesn't exist. So the first one is this one right here. As you can see, it says when the Nature's Fury key passive triggers a free skill, your non-ultimate cooldowns of the opposite type are reduced by 8 seconds. That means, go over here in abilities, that means every time you use your Storm Strike, there's a 20% chance that you can reset the cooldown of your Trample. When you get the Crone Legendary, you can get this to proc a lot more often and spam Trampleslide. So that's something that you gotta keep in mind for later on in the game. But for right now, you only have Storm Strike. It'll be extremely slow, but it still works. And that's the synergy you're going for. Now here, of course, you have the Trampleslide itself. Trample now summons 6 landslide pillars of earth during its duration that deal 150% normal damage. Trample is now also a nature magic and earth skill. This actually allows you to get the synergy with Trample. Without this, it doesn't work, the damage doesn't work, the skill doesn't work, Trample just remains Trample. Of course, this is what the entire build is made around. So naturally, very insane, you're just casting Landslide 6 times for free, and if you can reset Trample, you'll just keep spamming it. So it has consistent DPS, and it also has burst DPS. That's literally higher than any other build in the game, as far as I'm aware right now. I've seen Whirlwind Barbarians, but I haven't seen the end game right now, so I can't tell you exactly how big it'll be in the end game. All I've seen is that it does 70k now, more damage than I've seen any other class do that I've played with. Of course, all of them are strong. Every class has an amazing build that you can pull off, but for Druid, I think this is the best one. So, let's take a look at the rest of the abilities to actually build your character around this. As I said, Storm Strike. First thing you want to grab. Second thing you want to grab is, of course, Landslide. Landslide with the terramotes. And the way we're gonna make terramotes useful to us, because we don't have a lot of crowd control, we're actually going to artificially build crowd control into this kit. So first, the second thing we're gonna grab after Landslide is Pulverize. Now, how are we going to use Pulverize? Why do we run 2 core skills? It's because, as I keep insisting, Pulverize is a very dogshit skill by itself. You don't actually want to build around Pulverize. You want to use it as an excellent utility skill, because all of its damage is not reliant on the base damage of the skill. It's reliant on the overpower. So you can literally just pick Pulverize and use it once every 12 seconds for the overpower, and you get the full stun, which 12 seconds for the stun is actually a great thing. It's a very low cooldown stun. On top of that, all of the damage comes from overpower and fortify, which will be very easy for you to get. So that's exactly what we'll be doing throughout this. We'll be using Pulverize as our easy, cheap stun. So Pulverize will be the other ability you want to pick. Earthen Bulwark is your greatest defense. It will have no cooldown. You can get the legendary that prolongs its duration from 3 seconds to 9 seconds. And with the resets that you'll be getting on Trample, you will also be resetting your Bulwark. So you'll have even more unstoppable duration. This is an insane synergy that will make Druid damn near impossible to kill. Now for passives, I like to pick this because it's more damage on your landslide. More crits, because more crits are really good on this build. Trust me, sometimes you'll run out of terramotes and you will really wish you'd crit. So you want to run as much crit chance as you possibly can. Ancestral Fortitude, because effects in this game are completely broken. You want as many resistances as you can. So naturally, you pick this. It's free 15% across every resistance without any conditions. That's nuts. You want this in your resistances, especially if you're playing hardcore like me. Next, Poison Creeper. Now, why am I using Poison Creeper? It doesn't reset with any of my synergies, you might say. But keep in mind, we're gonna be spamming 6 landslides with 21% lucky hit chance. Run the math, it actually ends up being quite insane. And then Trample itself also has another 21% lucky hit chance. So it actually, you do the math, it ends up being quite high of a lucky hit chance. And then we pick Pack Leader and we literally have a resetting generator of terramotes. So you use this in every single encounter because it will reset itself after using Trample. So that's the combo. You use Poison Creeper, you Trample. Easy damage. Now because we have such high lucky hit, of course, we're also gonna be running Bad Omen because it's just free damage. Every time you hit something that's vulnerable, you get 55% extra damage. And because we hit things so many damn times, we tend to get this quite a lot. Now, this is not mandatory. If you want to invest these points, you don't think the damage is worth it, you can put it into something else. I personally like it. It's just something that I like using. If I were to replace this with something else, I would take it off of this. And I don't know, maybe I would put it in here for the extra fortify, even though you don't really need it. In this one would actually be really good. Heightened senses, extra damage reduction. You can go for Iron Fur, again, extra damage reduction. These are all extremely good options, completely up to you. Next, of course, you just need 1 point in Trample. The ability itself doesn't do much damage. You're doing your damage with the landslides. So Trample itself is quite useless. You just pick it, pick Enhanced Trample, and then Natural Trample for the Fortify. And now this is where it gets crazy. So you pick Crushing Earth, just 1 point. You don't give a shit about slowed, stunned, immobilized, or knocked back, because you're probably aiming to do more damage to the bosses. Everything else dies in 1 hit anyway. Safeguard is what's really insane here. Because we'll have terramotes, critical strikes with earth skills fortify you for 7% base life. Right? 7% base life. That means of the 6 times we crit with terramotes, we'll be getting 6 times 7. That's 42% base life as fortify. But that's not all, my friends, because we have this legendary, which makes it so landslide hits twice. So it's not actually 6 landslides that we're hitting with. This is the big surprise. We're hitting with 12 landslides. So, what's 12 times 7? 84. 84% fortify. With another 20%. Straight up, if you can get enough terramotes, you will in one button go to full fortify. That's how insane this safeguard ability is. You always want this maxed, you will get full benefits out of it, and I promise you it's the most insane passive you'll have on your kit for defensives. And of course, because you'll always be fortified pretty damn well, you get free extra 12% damage to all of your skills. This one is very interesting as well, and Venom. Because we're gonna be using Poison Creeper, and it resets so many times, and Venom actually ends up being quite the good trait, because you'll just use your Landslide. It will be a guaranteed critical hit against all the enemies that are hit by Poison Creeper, which you will always use before you use Trample. So you'll get that 30% additional critical strike guaranteed. And then of course you have your baseline nature magic trait. You could go for this for the extra damage if you want to sacrifice some points from the things that I mentioned before that you can sacrifice. I personally like going for nature magic because it's extra healing. In this game, survivability is extremely important. As a hardcore player, I want this 100%. I want to be able to heal myself, and over the time that I sit there shielded by Earthen Bulwark, I can regenerate any damage that I have. Even though I don't really need it because I have so many fucking potions, right? I have like 9 of them. It's a good thing to have. You don't know when you'll just get cocky and you haven't healed yourself. You're at like 75% HP. You don't really want to use a potion. Yeah, you want to have this healing you up because you might just die like a moron. I know it happened to me before, so it's pretty useful. Always good to keep some healing on. Especially when you go fight the Butcher, I found that this is extremely useful since you're always like on the edge with Butcher, right? You're always driven to like the last potion in the earlier levels. So you want to have that as a backup. And then of course this, because we have this legendary right here, you'll see whenever you use a storm skill, it'll give you 40% more critical strike damage. That's where a lot of damage comes from, right? You just put vulnerable on enemies with storm strike, and then you landslide. You have automatically 40% crit damage. Because that's how it works, that's how you generate your resources, and that's how you reset Trample itself. It means that every single time before you, what do you call it? Every single time before you use Trample, you would have used Storm Strike. So you will have that buff up. It means that this gets full benefits, 18% damage, pretty damn okay. And of course, Nature's Fury. Now let's talk about everything else that I haven't mentioned yet. Deal 24% increased damage while you have a barrier active. This is pretty damn good. 24% increased damage across all of your kit. The reason why it's good is because you will always have Earthen Bulwark up, of course. And then your core skills deal up to 39% increased damage based on your amount of Fortify. Could be better roll on this, could be up to 60%, which is quite massive, I would have to say, but hey, you take what you can get. This is insane because, as I explained, you press one button, you're full Fortify every single time. That's how good this is. You will get the full benefit out of this every single time. And yeah, my items are quite shit, I'll be honest, in terms of medial rolls. You see I have companion skill damage. I don't really need that shit. I want earth damage. But I haven't gotten lucky with this. I'm just using it for the legendary itself. Already talked about this one. This is your greatest defensive. You want to get a high roll on this and then use it as a defensive. It essentially gives you 50% more armor, which is quite massive. Keep in mind, in this game, the way armor works is half of it gets transferred over to all of the rest of your resistances on top of the full amount you get against physical. So armor is insane in this game. You want as much of it as possible, and this makes sure you are always quite resistant to any one-shots. And the way you stack it up is very, very good with the Trampleslide build because you do so many hits. You deal 12 hits of Trampleslide just by pressing one button. You also have Poison Creeper ticking, doing damage to all the enemies. Just using Trample itself is good enough, right? You have a lot of options here. This, I've already talked about this, is just the alternation. You get crit for your storm skills and crit damage for your earth skills, which are usually guaranteed to crit. Pretty good. This is the defensive. Already talked about this one. This is the one you want to use. Whenever you kill something, you also replenish it, so add some extra defense to your overall kit. And I like to use this one as well for mobility while unstoppable, and for 4 seconds you gain 25% increased move speed and can move freely through enemies. The reason why I use this is because Earthen Bulwark makes you unstoppable, Trample makes you unstoppable. You always benefit from the full movement speed all of the time. And for spirit boons, we got wariness. You take less damage from elites. Really, really good. On top of your Storm Strike, you already have 35% damage reduction just with this. Avian Wrath, must have. Always. You gain 30% critical strike damage, of course. That's quite a lot. Energize. Dealing damage has up to a 15% chance to restore spirit. This you'll want to get rid of eventually. You'll want to replace it with Scythe Talons and go for the Double Eagle instead. But for right now, I do need the energy because I don't have my build properly topped off. I need more Paragon points to really make sure I never run out of energy, so I can cast Landslide when I need to. Now, of course, Pack Leader is a must-have if you're gonna use the Poison Creeper. If you don't want to use Poison Creeper, you think it's a little bit too weird, too RNG, you can also use Grizzly Rage, but I wouldn't really recommend it, because, let's be honest, having a 50-second button is a very bad idea. Even though most people run it, a lot of people like to use it, I don't think it's a very good idea at all. I think it's actually quite shit. A lot of people use this ultimate with the, what do you call it? The Pulverize build. And once again, I have to insist that Pulverize is not that great of a build for Druid. There are way better options, such as this one. So that's how you want to build your character. Let's see, did I forget to mention something? Oh yeah, if you want to run something more supportish, you can also still run Trampleslide. If you're getting boosted, for example, you can run Debilitating Roar with the legendary that makes it stone. So that way you can reset Debilitating Roar over and over again, and you will be able to reduce the damage of all enemies around you by 70%. So if you're running Debilitating Roar as a support character with the Nature's Fury legendary, you can essentially act as a super tanky support for your teammates. You can nerf the damage of everything you roar at. So it's really good. It's quite advantageous, even for the more supportish players. And I like to run Overload as my last boon. You can run Obsidian Slam, but it got heavily nerfed when it only asked you to kill 10 things. It was useful for clearing, but now it's asking you to kill 20 things to get one single overpower. And keep in mind, when you overpower, it will only overpower with one of your trample slides. So it actually won't overpower with the whole trample slide. It will just overpower with one landslide. So it's quite annoying in that sense. You don't really want to go with this. I used it because it was just that extra little bit of damage. Sometimes you needed to kill something really fast. You had it on, you press landslide, on that single thing and it died. So it was nice in that regard, but you don't really need it. You can instead just use overload. Now you might be asking, why do you use overload? Well, because people are severely underestimating Nature's Fury as well. Nature's Fury will throw so many lightning bolts with this ability right here. Let me find it. So this ability, Lightning Storm, has the highest lucky hit chance in your entire kit. Even though it doesn't look like it, when you actually cast 5 of these things at once, you do the math, and your lucky hit increases by a tremendous amount. And because you have so many landslides coming out all the damn time, you will always be seeing lightning storms. So that's how it works. And just really quickly, let me just leave game here. I'm gonna be showing you guys a very quick dungeon run. Maybe I'll go run around the world for a little bit and do a hell tide or something along those lines. Show you guys how the build actually works for those of you who haven't seen it. All you need is the legendaries. None of the damage actually comes from any of my stats. My stats are not that strong. I haven't tinkered with them for too long. I haven't perfected this game for endgame. I essentially just got to level 53, decided I had all the necessary legendaries, and just rolled with it. Here's the hell tide. Keep in mind, you can check my stream if you're unsure about the build. I was doing this level of damage way before this, right? Like level 53 was when I got the Nature's Fury legendary and I could actually pull it off. So right now, that's all you need. Really, you can start the build with just the Nature's Fury legendary and the Trampleslide legendary, and that's all you really need. So we're gonna go ahead and show you guys how the build actually works. Let's see here. Anything to kill, lads? Want something bigger. See, many people are struggling with this hell tide here. Well, don't steal my shit, man. I'm trying to kill everything here. I don't want to leave you anything. I want to show off my build. Wait, oh my god, it expired. Okay, so as you can see, insane damage. It kills everything in one hit, even on World Tier 3. I take no damage, I'm full fortified by pressing just one button. Everything works as I had predicted even before the game released, because I'm the biggest brained druid you'll ever see, of course. Fortunately, I don't have anything to show it to you guys with, so allow me just a second. Right, you'll see if I just run the... Right now I have no terramotes. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage. You'll see. Oh, I guess it does because I still have some crit chance. But you saw the first 2 hits did like 2k. When you crit, you deal anywhere between 20k to 75k depending on how your damage lines up and how you combo things. So the one-shots have great potential. See, there, it didn't crit. In order to make it crit, the build requires you to stun targets. Those targets were stunned. Now let's test it. Hold on. It only got hit with a part of the bear. So I technically missed it. Give me just a sec here. See, it's really annoying when you're not farming terramotes. Because you do need them. See, now I have 12. 15. And there, the damage is heavily amplified. There I didn't have the shield up either. So you'll see the build does have some requirements. It might seem like like it's a bit of a pain in the ass to play right now, just because I'm screwing around trying to show you guys how the mechanic actually works. But in reality, you just press this, and you crit and everything dies. And you see there's lightning bolts all over the place. Everything's dying in one hit. And compared to all the other classes who are struggling with all this bullshit, Druid has no such problem. Once you get these two legendaries, you can really just tailor it to your own needs. One other problem that I have with this build is actually getting footage of the damage itself. Okay, we got the reset. See, I don't really take any damage either, so... There we go, let's see. We're gonna get some big crits on this one. There it was, 47,000 damage. And that was, once again, without the full combo. Let's try another one here. And as you can see, full fortify. 34, 32, that's 60k damage just right off the bat. There it is. You can also get it with the regular landslides. These are good for when you gotta use precision against a single mob. Maybe you have some stragglers. For example, let's say I want to kill this guy, right? Boom, that guy's dead. So I can also do that, but why do that when I can do this? Right? I can kill the whole screen. What do I need precision for? So yeah, the build is pretty good. I would love to show it more to you guys, but to be honest, I'm kind of tired, and this isn't the final build. This isn't the final build video either. I want to go more in depth into how to actually play it and do the Paragon board and everything you need up to level 100. So we'll be talking more once I'm done with my own playthrough, with getting to level 100 and getting shit done throughout the whole process. I'll see you guys then, once I got to my name with that statue as well. Bye-bye.